What's up, people? Welcome back to the channel. So I'm back with another market watch because I guess it's gonna be a market watch. It's gonna be like a full market watch, but I'm also gonna throw in a couple of my thoughts for the set Soul Burning by Volcano. I also kind of decided to make it a market watch because as we see here, Salamangreat Fire has completely shot up in price. So like, if you like what we do here, please feel free to like, subscribe. If not, it's all cool. We do videos like this all the time. Leave comments down, leave comments down below. Really helps out the channel. Trying to get 500 subscribers to do an awesome giveaway and a lot of other cool stuff when we get to that mark. So please, keep on subscribing. Really appreciate it, and we'll keep on getting content out. So let's go ahead and just get into it from here. Salamangreat Fire is a card that I mentioned that it might go down a little bit more, but at some point it will. It is going to spike. It will spike. However, I worry that if Salamangreat does something, and I kind of thought that, okay, Salamangreat has always been a pretty good rogue tier 2, sometimes tier 1, fringing in the top kind of deck. Like, and I'm not talking about like Salamangreat in its prime. I'm talking about Salamangreat more like in the last like 3 years, because its prime was like one of the best decks. But in the last 3 years, it has kind of been like gone from rogue to 1.5 to tier 1, tier 2. It's always kind of like been there, and I pretty much assume that, okay, maybe after the ban list, this deck was kind of going to thrive and become a really good contender in the meta. But it looks like we don't even need a ban list. It is contending right now, and Salamangreat Fire is a big part of that. This right here, having the ability to search, like the level 4 Salamangreat monsters, and on top of that, with all the extra support that they got, especially with like I think it's called like Raging Phoenix, whatever the Salamangreat Link, the new one is called. That one right there just opens up a lot of potential for the deck, and we can see a reflection of that in the price right here. We're looking at like 1974, 1987. We're looking at bringing pretty much 19 to $20 range for Salamangreat Fire. So if you missed out on this, like I said, this went up faster than I thought, but at the same time, 7 wasn't wasn't the best. It did have room to go down, but the meta kind of its own monster. So that's kind of like a huge huge craziness that kind of just happened right here in the market. But let's just go ahead and just start going through the rest of these cards that I have picked out here. Battling Boxer, King Dempsey, and so here's I guess here's where these next cards that I pick out is where I feel the value could be, like similar to how Salamangreat Fire went from like a $7 card to like a freaking $20 card. Basically, these cards have potential to do the same, simply because there's no chase card. Without a chase card, you essentially are like, okay, like the value of the set is going to be determined on how good the decks are. Now, like I understand not every set should be. However you want to say, I understand, just because there's no, meta impactful stuff, but there's no good chase cards, doesn't mean the set necessarily, just because there's no chase cards, I don't know what I was saying there. Just because there's no chase cards doesn't mean the set necessarily has to be bad, especially if it gives a lot of good support to older decks. That's kind of what this does. But at least with the, with the other set, you had the forbidden droplets to chase, and also too, and then even in the Win one, you had the Barone. Like Barone has been good ever since this came out. So like when you had when you had the Win Duels pack, you were able to chase Barone. When you had freaking when you had the last one, you had the Forbidden Droplets. This one right here, although like I said, does some awesome support, does not have that chase card, and that's gonna kind of make these cards either hold this price range, or they're going to start going up if they see any kind of play. We got the Battling Boxer Uppercut right here, like similar thing, like kind of goes down, then it kind of small, like little spike, because essentially it's like people realize that this is the value. Like if we like people that have it, are like, okay, like it's not gonna, I guess people that have it are probably holding it because they want to use it, and since the set's not that popular, a lot of people probably just have it sealed and they just don't have a whole bunch of these open. So like I think like it's gonna be one of those things where there's probably going to be low quantities of singles of a lot of this stuff, and the second any of this stuff does good, kind of like the Salamangreat stuff, it'll just kind of shoot up in value. So Volcanic Emperor, for example, right now you get him at at $8, $7.99, $7.50 with that 78 shipping, $8.30. You get it for the the $8 range. If Volcanics become like a rogue threat or like any kind of like meta contender at one point, these cards just shoot up to like $20, just like literally in a second, because there's nothing else to counterbalance the value. It's like the second something is good or useful, it'll just shoot up. Like there's nothing to like there's no reason to open masses of these sets unless you were really looking for these specific cards. So there's probably, like I said, like I don't want to make too many like calls, because like there is a lot. There's 6 pages of all this stuff. So like obviously there's like a good amount of it. But if we're gonna compare this to like to like how many people opened up the Water Duels pack just to try to get Forbidden Droplets versus how many people are not gonna open this just because there's nothing, it's kind of a thing. Volcanic Trooper, same thing. $7, $7.99, $8, pretty much, it's kind of same thing. $7 to $8 card, and this right here, at any moment, could kind of just, if volcanics become good, it'll just like shoot up. So it's kind of weird right now. I kind of feel like a lot of this stuff is going to hold, especially because I think a lot of players, vendors, people who are on this are realizing that the sealed is going down so fast that like we have to hold value on these individual singles. Maybe I'm wrong, but we'll see. Maybe we'll come back to this later on. Because you got like, look at like $35 for a whole box, like $35 a box. This right here, if you pull one of these, that's almost the entire value. You pull any of these, you pull one of these, and then any of these two right here, and you're essentially almost getting your entire value back for the box. So like right now, it's kind of looking like, I don't know why. You know what? I'm kind of looking at this from like from this kind of perspective, and it's like, okay, like if you could get yourself like a good box, then yeah, this is actually very much like like pretty worth it. But you do have some pretty bad ultra rares. You do have the Battling Box, the promoter. He's not really bad, but like Price Rise, this guy's like 94. So there's a chance to kind of like whiff on some of these cards. But if you wanna sit there and try to gamble it, because like I don't know exactly how many ultras come in here, I forgot already. But it's very, very small. It would have been nice to have something to kind of chase, because I feel like with the amount of people who love Salamangreat, who love Volcanic, who love Battling Boxer, and with the card to chase, I think the set would have done way better, and it would have just been more appealing for just a whole bunch of different people to kind of open. But at the same time, there's also going to be a lot more appealing products. You got the 25th anniversary tin, the 25th anniversary collection. You got those two huge kind of sets coming out, and then also you got the core set that's going to be coming out. So I kind of figure that like a lot of people, I guess I don't know, I guess maybe a lot of people would have kind of stayed away from this set simply because they would have rather saved their money for the so I would rather save money for the tins, or rather save money for the for the 25th anniversary collection. But I really feel like this set is going to, well, it's obvious, but it's just going to hurt without that chase card. Ghost Star Sunlight Wolf is just not enough. Okay, so now we're moving over. Those are pretty much my thoughts. Like, I think the set is decent because of how much support it has, but at the same time, it could have been way better if it had all that support plus something to chase. Like Triple Tactics Talent would have been nice to throw in there, or even like a short print super rare of it. That would have been really cool. Just something for like just something for the fans of like those decks who are gonna like mass open this in more quantities than others to kind of go for it. But let's go ahead and talk about some of it's like a regular market watch now that we're done with me and my feelings. We got Book of Moon. I don't know if any of you guys noticed, but I sure as hell noticed recently that Book of Moon has skyrocketed. Doesn't matter what version of Book of Moon we're looking at, it is up in price. Obviously, you got the super rares, and then you got the all these super rares, from the special packs, from the champion pack and the OPTP. Oh man, I'm like OP. Okay, drawn a blank on this, so I'm just gonna skip that. But then you got these right here, the dual terminal. Then you got the ultra rare, secret rares. They say 4, but market price is at 12. Secret rares at 10. We're looking at pretty expensive cards right here. Platinum rares $660, ultra rares $466. Like I found a whole bunch of ultras and I posted them. They're just kind of going wild. There are still budget versions. You got the gold right here. You got commons. These commons are at $1, but you do still have commons right here that are going under $1. You got the from the Astral Pack version, the 89 cents, common short print. You do have a lot of versions of this card. So like if you're looking for this, so there are still budget versions, but if you're looking to hollow out your deck, or you just want like hollow upgrades, it's already kind of too late. You should have swooped these up when they were $1. Like the second Book of Moon was at $3. I knew I had to get my get my 3 copies there. We are if sooner or later you end up in a Book of Moon meta. Maybe we're in a Book of Moon meta right now. I do feel like Book of Moon is extremely good, especially if we still gotta have cash running around. So like Book of Moon, and then the next card we're talking about, Book of Eclipse, is kind of extremely useful right now. Book of Eclipse is a little bit different. We do not have like a whole bunch of copies kind of going up. You got the ultra rare for 49 cents, the rare for 23, common for 42. Because like this one is kind of a little more calmer. I think because like if you use it on your opponent's turn, they could potentially get like a lot of draws. So like this one, but at the same time, if you're going on your turn, if you're trying to break a huge board, this right here is just kind of like the end all be all. So kind of like keep an eye out. These are kind of slowly creeping up, also creeping back in the meta. So like if you're gonna play in a big tournament this coming up weekend, keep an eye out for like those book cards. And then the last card I want to talk about is XYZ Encore. I was talking with one of my homies last week, at the card shop, and he picked up the Herald of the Abyss, and he was talking about how like this is like the perfect purely card and better than XYZ Encore. Well, like I shouldn't say better, but he was gonna prefer it over XYZ Encore. And then we kind of had the conversation, and I kind of like at the end he said he was still gonna try it, but he did see that like XYZ Encore is probably like the better card, essentially because like you could essentially like chain in the draw phase to make sure they don't draw like a whole bunch of cards. So it does prevent the advantage they get, and it gets rid of the purely monster. So if you're just trying to play some casual games, or you're just trying to you're trying to play budget, go with the Herald of the Abyss. That's just that's what you need to use. But if you're gonna go competitive and if you have the extra cash to spend, I would just go ahead and pick up XYZ Encore. I really don't see exactly where it's going to come. It's gonna get its reprint. I feel like Battle of the Legend could have been a really cool place to put this card in. I don't know why they didn't want to put it in Monster's Revenge. They also could have put it in Wild Survivors, but Konami decided not to. So like those have been two decent places to kind of put those in, because like Purely was like starting to kind of come up, Purely was still making his rounds, and then so like it would have made more sense to reprint it there. But at the same time, maybe it could come in the Ready collection. Maybe they could throw it randomly in the tins. I do not know. But at the same time, if you're trying to play competitively and you really don't want to F with Purely, I would just get XYZ Encore. Alright guys, that's it for the video. Leave a comment down below if you have any questions or requests for videos. If you have any like comments, or maybe you have like a couple cards you want me to cover in the market, because I do kind of tend to cover more recent cards. Maybe you want me to talk about some older cards or some like super expensive cards. Let me know in the comments down below. If not, it's all good. Peace out guys, and I'll catch you in the next one.